My name is Jehane Noujaim. I'm a filmmaker. I've directed the films Control Room and Startup.com and executive produced the films Encounterpoint and Boudros. And I founded something called Pangea Day, which was came out of a TED Prize, which I was awarded in 2006.
I actually saw the talk where you were pitching Pangea Day.
Oh gosh, I was very nervous.
How did the project turn out?
The project turned out very well. We asked people, for Pangea Day, we asked people around the world, if you had a few minutes of the world's attention, what story would you tell? Got thousands of submissions from around the world and put it into 4 hours of films and music and speeches, and then broadcast it all around the world. So it was shown in live, simultaneously, 1,800 locations in over 100 countries of the world. So it was kind of created a global conversation.
What kind of impact have you seen coming out from watching social issue documentary?
You know, I think it's very hard to measure what the actual impact is of social issue documentary. But I think that you can't underestimate the power of what a story, what effect it can have in somebody's life. And sometimes that effect will happen immediately after they see the film, and sometimes it'll happen 5 years later. You know, and I have many stories where people have watched films and have said, you know, it didn't affect me immediately, but you know, 2 years later when I had to make this decision about voting for this person or, you know, making some decision, that scene stuck in my mind, or that, you know, that story really stuck with me, and I made a different decision than I ordinarily would have made.
Was there a particularly memorable encounter with someone who came up and talked to you about something they've seen of your work? There
was a very large polling organization that did a poll around the Middle East and the Muslim world about what Muslims think and what Arabs think, and somebody who was working for the polling organization wanted them to have a partnership with Al Jazeera because it would get the pollers out into so many more locations, and it would help to have this partnership. And the person that she worked with at the time said, no, there's no way that we're going to do a partnership with Al Jazeera. You've heard that they're the mouthpiece of Osama bin Laden and this and that. And so she gave him the film Control Room, and he watched it and he said, okay, I get it. I get why this is an important organization to have a partnership with. And it changed their polling, and their polling was reaching the whole, you know, the United States. So it was an important, that was like an important shift that the film was able to do.
Last question, how did that make you feel?
Oh, it made me feel great, you know. I mean, you don't get these stories all the time. You hope that, I mean, and you know, if it affects one person's opinion, that makes a big difference. But that's, you know, that's what you kind of live for, I think, as a filmmaker, is to be able to see something that really moves you and then translate that emotional shift that you have, try to translate that to a wider audience. And when that actually happens, that's a very gratifying feeling.